Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for the All Elite wrap-up brought to you in part by the lovely Turnbuckle Tavern, man. You know the drill, www.theturnbuckletavern.com for all your Turnbuckle Tavern juicy, gooey goodness, man. I'm good old Mike BELCASTER as always, and joining me, as always, the man with the plan.
Live from the No Cell Studios, it's the Ace of the Tavern, Stephen ACEFIELD, and we have not only great AEW action to break down, but we have a new champ to break down. So spoiler alert, if you haven't watched, stay with us. It was a big moment. Big moment.
Yeah. I spoke it into existence last week. I was pissed, and I'm here for it, man. Let's fucking do it. Man. We got good old Nick Storm in the house. What up, brother?
What's
Miss
up,
you,
dude?
buddy. Good to see you. And we got good old Austin in the house. What up, Austin?
Austin Tyson, Austin Tyson.
Austin Tyson, baby. Always down with the plan. Hell yeah, man. But a great episode tonight, and I don't think we should waste any time. Let's get right into it. You down?
I am down.
All right. Cody, what do you got to say about
What do you guys want to talk about?
Boom.
So
Boom.
as
It's
always,
news time.
we break down the news to start the show, and we have three important news stories to talk about. Obviously, we'll talk about one of the bigger news stories, the return of Renee Paquette. I think that's part of the Dynamite breakdown. But let's start with the first story that dropped about a couple hours ago, earlier today. If you're following through on Twitter or social media, Ariel Helwani, the infamous, or not infamous, the famous, or however you want to look at him, MMA reporter, talked about his interview back with Tony Khan, and he called it one of his most frustrating of his career. So he commented on a recent interview he conducted with Tony Khan, saying was the not so fun interviews of my career. So he conducted an interview with Tony Khan on the MMA Hour. Helwani said his interview with Khan that took place last week was one of the most frustrating and, to a degree, not so fun interviews of my career. He didn't want to answer anything. Helwani said, "You're going to come on and promote X, Y, and Z. Great. And I'll play that dance with you. I did at the beginning, but you got to give us something. To not even tell me how you were feeling. I'm not asking for specifics. All right, fine, I am. But is Punk going to wrestle for you? Is he coming back? You don't want to get into it? Fine, but tell me how you were feeling. Give me something." This is fresh off the heels of that Triple H interview that was, let's be honest, it was heralded as one of the greatest interviews of all time. Papa H can do no wrong. Ariel Helwani throwing some shade Tony Khan's way. What's your thoughts on this?
So he was asking about the whole media scrum shit, right? And like contracts with, fucking good for Tony Khan, man. Stick to your guns. Don't kill. Yeah, don't kill the fucking vibe, man. Oh, Mino's in the house. What up, Mino? But yeah, man, Rock'em Sock'em Wrestler in the house as well. Love the fucking love, brothers. But yeah, man, good for Tony, dude. Obviously, you got to keep that kind of elevated situation close to home. You know, don't throw all your cards on the table at once. And the hell with this guy. Who the fuck is he? Like, this is.
So AEW has not commented on this publicly regarding the fight and the status of Punk and the Elite, Omega, Ace Steel, and others that were involved. Chris Daniels, Brandon Cutler, and Michael Nakazawa, who were also suspended around the same times, returned to the company shortly, and they've been quiet since as well. I know people have been talking about how there's a lot to do with internal investigations. You can't speak until everything's settled. But it begs the question, why would Tony Khan take that interview? So I'm not siding with Ariel, but it's like, maybe just do your busted open thing with the safe questions you know that they're going to be asking you week to week. Ariel Helwani is a deep dive interview, especially coming off the heels of the Triple H thing. You don't want to be compared to that. I know it's not really fair, but Triple H bared his soul in that interview, and you had to expect Ariel is going to be asking fresh off the heels of everything that went on. Maybe just say, you know what, maybe we'll do it in a week or so. To go on there and be very neutral and not say anything, it made Tony Khan look bad, in my opinion.
I need to check this interview out to have an official standpoint on it, because it is. I mean, you could be any fucking journalist out there, any interviewer, you could be us, you know, and you're just trying to get hard hitting questions. It's totally understandable, but yeah, man, I don't know. Obviously it's going to be hard not to compare with the Triple H interview, right? Because Triple H just comes out, he's doing his big thing. Changes are coming to WWE, man. We're a crew.
Talks about almost dying, making everybody cry. Like, yeah, it was a big deal.
I'm tearing up right now talking about it, but like, yeah, man, I don't know. You got to kind of know that the territory you're getting into, and yeah, if there's an investigation going on, sure, you got to mum's the word, but like, yeah, whatever. Who cares? Fuck this guy.
And I know you said you didn't check the interview out. It's a typical Tony Khan interview. It's a rah, everything's great. Everything's awesome and hyping up the shows. And that's awesome. When you go on the wrestling show at Barstool, or you go on the weekly spot on Busted Open, or when he does these other spots, maybe when he goes on Observer Radio with Meltzer, he doesn't have to dive deep. But when you're going on a Helwani is, let's be honest, a neutral party. I know that Nick's in the chat saying Ariel paid by Triple H confirmed. He's a neutral party. He covers wrestling on the side. He's an MMA journalist. So this is something he's covering more recently, but his interviews are highly regarded. And if you're going to go on there, you have to know he's going to ask the intrusive questions, and you have to give him something. I think, again, don't go on the show if you know, because you know Helwani's going to be asking him those questions. If you don't want to answer him, maybe don't take the interview.
I think he was just trying to really get out if CM Punk lost another fight.
Exactly. It all comes full circle.
Yeah,
it's Cleveland, Ohio. CM Punk lost another fight.
But yeah, man, it is what it is. Like, I'm not gung-ho. Listen, not every interview you do or you're a part of is going to be a banker, right? Like, everybody has their times, and this wasn't Tony's time to talk.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter of Tony and everything he does, and I'm just want to say I'm supporting you as well. I think he doesn't have to reveal all. It's not his responsibility to inform everybody, especially if there's an investigation. My thoughts are he does a lot of interviews. He does so many interviews, and the funny part is he doesn't really say anything in any of them. He just kind of hypes the things we all know. He's a walking Instagram, Twitter post. Yeah, he's just talking about everything everybody already knows.
Rampage,
and that's challenging. It's a PR. It's a PR genius move where he never really says anything controversial outside of those moments where he goes off himself on social media. But these interviews have been pretty safe, which is interesting because Tony Khan's got himself in some hot water when he's been poked on social media. It's interesting that you think Helwani would have got something a little bit more interesting from Tony, but he stayed right down the middle.
He just didn't ask him the right questions. He didn't ask him how much more money he has than Jim Crockett Promotions.
Exactly.
He didn't ask what was going on Rampage this weekend. He was just that he was anti the hype man, and Tony Khan is the hype man.
So Nick makes a good point. Ariel tries to pry a lot out of his guests every interview. I can just imagine the heat from the side of people that are hating on WWE if Triple H went on there and he didn't talk about Bray Wyatt, or he didn't talk about Sasha Banks and Naomi, and just kind of stood the middle. And it would have been understandable if he did that. But again, going on that show, people expect a certain level of intimacy and knowledge that's coming from your end. And Helwani is a journalist. He's trying to get the clicks. He wants the interview to be telling. He wants to be the first guy to get that scoop about what actually went on. How are you feeling about this? And it's got to be frustrating on his end. So who knows how many more interviews Tony Khan's gonna be doing with Helwani, which is, let's see what happens.
And that's the other thing too, is like you got your people you're comfortable with, like the Barstool wrestling show, and
Brandon Walker,
so, Brandon Walker, he's entertaining, it's good, but I think Tony would save his bigger stuff for those things as opposed to some first time interview piece. I'm assuming this is the first time he's interviewed Tony Khan, right? So that's what
I don't know for sure, but it certainly seemed that way.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Fuck him.
All right, let's move to the next story, as long as you're cool moving on to the next story. So Warner Brothers and Discovery is working with AEW on figuring out a new content that's not in the wrestling ring. So the head of Warner Brothers Discovery US Networks Group wants to do more with AEW. This is according to Wrestling Observer. While most of the news regarding Warner Brothers Discovery has been around big cost-cutting moves and layoffs lately, a key executive with the company did an interview revealing some of their plans, which includes more, not less AEW content. So he was speaking with the Hollywood Reporter, WBD US Network's group chair and chief content office. Kathleen Finch talked about how scripted programming is still a focus of the company, despite recent moves that would indicate otherwise. She goes on throughout talking about they want something similar to what Cody and Brandy were doing in the reality scope. Obviously, they lost that when that whole package went over to WWE. That was a big part of AEW's allure with WBD and US Network and all that stuff. So when they left, you weren't getting that content. It wasn't just the TV show. You were losing the reality draw. So this is sort of good news. We've heard nothing but doom and gloom according to contract negotiations and everything going forward. Does this make you feel better about this contract that's coming up?
Yeah, I never once batted an eye at it. I mean, they're drawing great numbers for Warner, consecutive great numbers. It's not outstanding. It's nothing, changing the game, but it's still consecutive good viewers. And content wise, he's got so much more room to grow on stuff like that. Like, imagine if there was a Tay and Sammy show.
just move his vlog over to and be more, I guess, better produced in that stratosphere of making a reality show.
And it would be great, but I don't think Sammy's going to give up his vlog money at all. So there's a bigger difference. But money talks. But there's plenty of different things you could do. You could do a whole series on Jungle Boy. You could do, there's plenty of room for growth, and it doesn't necessarily all have to be in-ring action. Wrestling's cool when it spreads that landscape and kind of gets more into the normal day life shit. I think more people are attracted to that. Like, my wife watches The Miz and Mrs. More. We don't even watch WWE, but she loves the fucking show. She thinks it's great, and there's that market out there.
Oh yeah,
they love that shit.
So the quote from Kathleen Finch that I want to make sure we drive home here, because again, doom and gloom, people are talking about how the contract negotiations with AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery is going sideways, and they're upset with the numbers. Couldn't be further from the truth, according to this quote. So read into this all you want. She said, "We really play into the sports space. One of the big things that we're doing around sports is creating shoulder programming to hold on to those fans. AEW pulls huge numbers, so we are working with the wrestling team to figure out what new kind of content we can build that's not in a wrestling ring." So again, you're not building shoulder contact for something that isn't going to be continuing. It seems very likely that they're going to try their best to hold on to AEW, which is great news, because if they can secure a long-term contract and have stable footing for a television network to stay in the scope, you don't want to be on Pop like Impact.
Yeah.
You don't want to be elsewhere, because I'm not saying that's a real possibility, but that is sort of what separates Dynamite from the Impact shows they were putting on.
100%.
Because that TV deal initially on TNT and TBS had different eyes on it. Like, if AEW were originally started on Pop or whatever television network Impact started on, or streaming,
Sinclair
it would not
broadcast.
be.
Yeah.
It would be starting from 10 rows behind. So it's huge. This is huge news that people can't dismiss.
Yeah, and like I said, the content, it's there. You could do like a stunt-based show with Darby and his fucking hooligan friends, and there's so many. That's the best thing about AEW is the roster's so diverse. You can go anywhere with it. You really can. And yeah, man, I think it's good for business. They're cutting some shit off of Adult Swim and stuff like this. Some big partners with Warner. Like, I heard Adult Swim's going to get gouged really badly. So for the fact that they're doing that, and then they're leaning so heavily on AEW, that's nothing but good news for AEW.
So she also talks about wanting to cross over different personalities with TNT, specifically Charles Barkley, Guy Fieri, crossing over with different personalities. So we may see those personalities appear on Dynamite. We may see guys like Darby Allin, guys like Sammy Guevara, guys all different appearing on these shows. Maybe who appears on the NBA crossover to get eyes on their product. And if you're doing that, that means you have confidence to keep this going, and AEW is a priority, which at the end of the day, as wrestling fans, that's what means the most to us.
Absolutely, man. Couldn't have been said better myself.
Well, I appreciate that. And the final news story here, we dropped some dates that were important. So AEW officially announced dates for both Winter is Coming and the Holiday Bash editions of Dynamite. So Tony Khan hinted at it last month in an interview, not with Ariel Helwani. He actually dropped some news here. Winter is Coming will return to Garland, Texas on Wednesday, December 14th. This will be the third straight Winter is Coming, with the previous two featuring AEW World title matches in either the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal or the finals for the ring. So we also will be followed up by the annual Holiday Bash edition of Dynamite, which will be taking place December 21st in San Antonio, Texas. So they also go on with different dates. They have it listed on Wrestling Observer from October, November, December, and January. So all set up.
Ooh.
Coming back to the Northeast, they're going to be back at the Boardwalk Hall where they had a few WrestleManias. That was the refurbished Atlantic City. That'll be Friday, November 4th. That caught my eye for sure. They're going to be back-to-back nights, obviously in Prudential Center, Newark, New Jersey. They're doing Rampage at the Prudential Center, and then obviously Full Gear. We all talked about that November 19th. It was confirmed, but now we have it officially in writing here. We have a return to Chicago. No surprise here. The 23rd of November, we get a Dynamite Rampage combo at the Wintrust Arena. And then we also get Homa Hawk too. I don't know. He's not in Indianapolis right now, but we get, not sure if we had any AEW shows in Indianapolis, but they'll be going there November 30th.
Hell yeah. I'm good with it, man. It's good to see them kind of branch it out, not clustering in Chicago so much too. Usually I mean, that's their normal schedule. They do All Out, and then they move to the Wind Trust. And the Wind Trust is a nice arena, good stuff. Last year, they did the Wind Trust, and we got like 2 feet of snow. When it was, remember they did that spot, they threw Darby in the snow outside. And and it's like, it's a hard time to travel, though, because it's around the holidays. I mean, that's the day before Thanksgiving, I think.
I believe so, yeah. It's the third week in November.
So crazy, but good stuff, man. I'm all fucking here for it. Love
and
it.
Before we move on from the news, the last piece of news here is January 2023. The first show of the year will be in Seattle, Washington. So Climate Pledge Arena. I think this will be their Pacific Coast debut, right? I know they were there last year. That's my bad. But they will start the year on the West Coast all the way up. So it's an interesting start to the year. So I'm here for that. We'll see what they do with Bryan Danielson. Obviously, that's his hometown. Shall be interesting to see. Maybe he's in the title picture. Maybe he's champion. Maybe he's not. We'll see.
Yeah, no, it'd be very interesting to see where they're at in a couple months, as always, man. Because that's what's the fun about pro wrestling is.
All right, so this next piece of news is sort of blending into the start of Dynamite, and it's the debut and the appearance of Renee Paquette. So obviously in Canada for the debut of Dynamite, across the border in Toronto, we get Renee Paquette, who got a huge reaction from the Canadian crowd. Who we'll talk about the Canadian crowd. They were on fire all night. I think they had one misstep all night. They tried to go into business for themselves, but we'll talk about it when it comes up. What are your thoughts about Renee Paquette being a part of the AEW roster? It seems like a no-brainer. Obviously, Moxley's there. You have to know the baby's back there, hanging out with them. It's a full Moxley party. What's your thoughts
on this? It fits like a nice glove in the winter. She belongs there. I think she's going to do great for their backstage segments. She could even do commentary. We've heard her slay that announce booth over on the WWE side of things. So. It would be a nice fresh step to add to Dark Elevation or Rampage or different stuff, women's matches, stuff bring it on. I'm all for it. Obviously, she is a fantastic worker. She does great at what she does, and I'm 110% here for it.
Yeah, and obviously, I think some of her best work done in WWE was during that era where they were doing Talk and Smack with Bryan Danielson at the time, Daniel Bryan. So speaking of a familiar face from Toronto, she introduces Toronto's own Christian, who comes out to some cheers, gets a lot of boos quickly with the cheap heat on the Maple Leafs with the hockey season starting, low-hanging fruit to make fun of the Maple Leafs. Here you are. And then he introduces Luchasaurus, who gets booed. But interesting dynamic. Renee right into the fold. It wasn't a surprise appearance. Obviously, you're not going to debut her any other way.
Yeah,
I loved it. I think it adds a different flair, a different voice. Have someone in the back aside from Tony. Who's the other guy that cuts the interviews all the time? The big tall guy, not huge on him.
I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name.
Not huge on him. Obviously, I don't even know his name. I just think he's horrible behind the mic, and Renee has this poise and professionalism. She brings some of that WWE level professionalism in a good way to your product, and her on-screen presence is great. And people, when they react to even your side characters that are just interviewers, that's a good thing as well.
She's a professional,
Truly.
You totally, absolutely. Yeah, I'm fucking here for it, man. I love Renee. I think she's great, and I can't wait to see how involved she's going to be and how much more she's going to do there. It's going to be good.
I loved it, and again, it seemed like an eventual. It was more of a matter of when, not if, because of obviously her marriage to Moxley. I know WWE was wooing her, and they loved having her there. She was kind of part of a different amount of vehicles, not only on the network, but she was part of the pre-shows, and she was great. She was the voice of the network for a bit. But AEW gets a good catch there, and obviously they have the leg up with Moxley being there, and here we are. So I'll let you take the lead on Luchasaurus taking on Jungle Boy.
Ugh.
Biggest thing I pulled out of this, Jungle Boy is officially not Jungle Boy anymore. He's
Jack
Jungle
Perry.
Boy Jack Perry. So all this time that we thought JR was getting the name wrong, it's official. He's Jack Perry.
He was prepping, man. He was sprinkling those seeds at the very, very beginning. Because, I mean, listen, Jungle Boy, it's a good gimmick, but Jack Perry will get over. And he'll resonate better with the fans. He will resonate with me and you better. We'll be like, man, this Jack Perry guy is really good. And it kind of keeps his family's legacy involved in the entertainment business. And I'm cool with it, man. I thought it was a decent match. It was pretty good, but obviously we're leading into a Full Gear match, right? We can't leave it here with Luchasaurus getting the big W, but still not sold on Christian being around. Like he's great and all, but like he doesn't need to be here. This could just be Jack versus dinosaur, Jurassic versus Jack. I think it would be
like
good,
you said,
man.
I know they're setting the tone for Full Gear to have a bigger match where Jack Perry gets his big triumphant win. It did shock me to see Luchasaurus go over in the way he did. I know Christian played a part. He was distracting him, but it wasn't a severe distraction. I mean, it was a pretty decisive victory for Luchasaurus. And we talked about it last week. Jack Perry, I know you're trying to build sympathy for him, but at one time he was one of those guys that was virtually unbeatable. He was one of those guys that it would be very rare to see him pinned. And yeah, I know one hand washes the other. You have to build sympathy and get people wanting and pining for him to overcome the odds. It just felt weird and anticlimactic, and the crowd seemed confused as well.
There we go. Eventually, he would just be Jungle Man, and it just doesn't have the same damn ring to it. And it's true. Eventually, he's going to
going back to that, though, picture a pay-per-view poster. I'm not saying WrestleMania main event. I'm saying Double or Nothing, All Out. Picture that. What does that look like to you?
Yeah.
It has Jack Perry on it looks so much better. The world champion Jack Perry versus Maxwell Jacob Freeman. To see Jungle Boy as a casual fan, I'm sure people will be like, what's a Jungle Boy?
No, absolutely. It was a silly gimmick, obviously. It was straight off the indies. So, I mean, they kind of gave it room to grow, do its thing, and then they eventually brought it down a little bit. They got rid of Marco. They kind of made it the tag team thing, and then they had their run, and now they're moving on from it, and it's growth in a positive manner. So I'm here to see it. I like it. I'm not against it at all. So it's good. We love Jungle Jack Perry, man.
If you guys want the play-by-play as far as move by move, listen to the flagship tomorrow morning with the Two Bad Chads, break it down move by move. I'll just talk about the one spot. The sunset flip through the table by Jack Perry to Luchasaurus. That was a killer spot. Really well done. Stay the hell away from the table, you dinosaur. I'm not sure what you're doing, but this was a really cool spot. I thought there was some interesting moves in this match. The psychology seemed really good, but again, Luchasaurus winning took the wind out of my sails a little bit. I'm not sure how I would have booked it. I don't know if I would have had these guys wrestle until you're ready to have Jungle Boy go over.
Yeah. No, I think it's good to get those little, like these kind of matches in, these little, I'll call them condiments. They're condiment matches. You're talking about building out the sandwich. This is the condiment to get to the actual sandwich. You're just buttering up the bread right now. So, obviously we're like I said, we're headed in the Full Gear. We're going to get these two. Christian's going to be banned from ringside or some shit. And it's just going to be two guys beating the shit out of each other. Two best friends who are just at each other's end, just taking swings, going left and right. And it'll make for a good match for the pay-per-view card. But it wasn't a bad match. It was fun. It was entertaining. I enjoyed it.
It's a good opener. And that's what they do right.
AEW
AEW does a good job with setting the tone with an opener. We say that every week. They open up hot.
I hope he's keeping the gimmicks. He's got to keep the gimmicks, right?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the gimmicks. I agree getting rid of the name. And welcome to the chat over here. I'm not sure if I've ever seen this person here, but welcome. Thanks for watching.
What up?
So they said it's like they keep having to rewind what's going on with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus just to give Christian something to do. Same thing happening while they were a tag team. It's a good point. I'm sure Christian getting hurt stunted the growth of the storyline. It's not probably where they want to be. I think the main story is with Jungle Boy and Christian. That's the eventual spot you want to go. You want Christian to give the rub to Jungle Boy, but with that long-term injury, you have to pivot and find a different way. Inevitably, you want Jack Perry in the main event in the world title picture. I'm just not sure how you get there yet. You kind of have to close the book on what's going on with these guys.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Luchasaurus could be a step into that direction for a match between Jungle Boy and Christian at Revolution. It's a long draw, obviously, but I'm sure that's what we're going for. Unless things change with Christian, but I'm here for it. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. I'll enjoy it.
We keep talking about how long Punk's out. Seems like he's out forever. Christian has the same injury. He got injured on the same night. So or the night before or something. So he's out just as long as Punk.
You're talking like a May, right?
Yeah, it's a long time.
Because it's like 6 to 8 months.
It's a long time. He's out for a while.
Yeah. No, so no Revolution then. Unless they really drag out the Revolution date. Yeah, crazy.
You know what? Then I would probably put the pin in the whole storyline. If you can't get the payoff, it's like let Jack Perry go elsewhere. And I'm okay with this if Jack Perry's not going on to do bigger and better things. I think once Max wins the world title, I'd be all in on a Jack Perry versus MJF title feud because of their history and their connection and how they work together. That'd be amazing as a first, maybe even a second initial MJF title defense. And it would be a good way to establish those two young guys on the map.
Yeah, 100%, man.
So you mentioned best friends before, and these guys, they're trying to make them out to be best friends. Wardlow and Samoa Joe getting a win over Nick Camarado and QT Marshall with Aaron Solo. Factory alert. We need a drop on the show. Factory alert.
It's got to be Hawk, though.
God,
Factory alert.
Factory sucks. Even though they were the nicest guys ever at FanFest, I was able to get pictures with them.
Yeah.
Nice guys.
Nice guys, but doesn't make for good opponents, right? They got their asses beat. Obviously, did anybody think anything else was going to happen? But yeah, the after match shenanigans was what was all about. Wardlow's doing his powerbomb gimmick. You know, he's just powerbombing the shit out of QT Marshall. Everybody loves that. I'm here for it. It's good stuff. But then the embassy comes out and they're talking shit.
Prince Nana.
Yeah, but as I like to say, Eddie Murphy from Coming to America comes out. He's like, "This is bullshit, man. Fuck you too."
Fair point.
Yeah, and then we get possibly one of the biggest pops of the evening. Our boys, 7-star FTR coming out.
Oh yeah,
interrupting. They beat the shit out of who is that? Aaron
Solo, Nick Camarado, QT Marshall, that whole crew. Not to mention the embassy crew as well.
A little Solo, but another big pop for the night, which I was genuinely surprised for, was Sean Spears' little return here. Yeah. It was good, man. Canadians are over in Canada. It's like poutine and Tim Hortons, man.
Exactly.
They love that shit. It was good, though. It was really good. I enjoyed the segment. I thought it was fun.
Love the segment. I do have an axe to grind with the fact that we're teaming up the two television champions together. Just a hodgepodge team with Wardlow and Samoa Joe. Pisses me the fuck off. I hate that Wardlow and Samoa Joe are pieced together. Both of these guys are so over. They should be having their own programs for their own championships. I don't mind the union of them if they weren't already champions. To put the TNT title on ice, to put the television title on ice, makes no sense to me, especially with how over both these guys are. And this is cut from the same blueprint of what they did with the women's championship as well with Thunderstorm. What, you just thought it was clever to call them Warjo? You thought it was clever to call them Thunderstorm? It's shitty. Like, I'm sorry. I think they both deserve their own things to do. And if this is a placeholder to get from Wardlow, we want Wardlow and Joe for the title, cool. But let's get there much quicker. I want that instead.
Yeah, I don't even think they're going to go that route.
It doesn't seem like wishful thinking. I want these two big guys going at it.
Beefy men slapping the shit out of each other. It'd be
Hell
great,
yeah, dude. Wardlow and Samoa Joe would kill it. It's so much better than them squashing guys weekly on Dynamite and Rampage. Come on.
No, it's weird. Definitely a weird pairing. I'm thinking of it as like a one-off, but they've done it several times already. So it's just goofy at this point. And
yeah,
you know my thoughts on the TNT title. That shit should be on Rampage every fucking show.
Right.
Going hard. Like how Cody did it. Cody did a great. I missed the open challenge. I thought that was one of the coolest things. I mean, it brought us so many people. It brought us Eddie Kingston. You know, we got to see a lot of good indie talent come through. We see Warhorse fucking take on Cody. Like, you know, just random shit.
Ricky Starks too, yeah.
Yeah, Ricky Starks as well, man. And like, it gave a spotlight to people that probably deserved it. You know, like a lot of those indie workers have been grinding. Eddie Kingston's been grinding for so many fucking years, man. And I mean, he came out and showed up. And it's good shit. We need more of that. I miss those things, man.
100%. Let's get to some of these comments here. We got Rock'em Sock'em in the chat. I definitely think Jungle Boy gimmick is holding back Jack Perry. Same with Lucha. Take off the mask and just be Austin already. Interesting. We also have this. I have to just write this sort of misconception that's out there about Keith Lee and Swerve. Just to correct the wrong, they were teaming on the Indies prior to them being signed majorly anywhere. So you do your research. They weren't called Swerve in My Glory. They were a tag team for many years prior. So it's not a thrown together tag team. It's just Tony Khan knows his wrestling history.
Yeah.
And we got CJ Mino going off right now about Joe and Wardlow. It's Joe or nothing. Call them whatever you want. They should be wrestling each other.
I like Jolo, like makes me think of Benifer, like when it was Jennifer Ben Affleck and it wasn't Jennifer Lopez. It's good, man. It's got good ring to it.
Rock'em Sock'em wants the big brother version of Luchasaurus, and I don't know. Maybe they'll have a spot on the roster for him.
Maybe Luchasaurus gets like a day in the life of a dinosaur on TBS next year.
He's a good looking guy too, with a master's level education in I think he's a special education teacher, and he's a very smart, well-spoken guy who, let's put him under a mask and make him a dinosaur. I mean, I know that's his choice. He got booked in the Indies doing that, but it's just funny because, again, good-looking guy, well-spoken. Have you ever seen an interview with him? The Chris Van Vliet interview with him, he's still wearing the mask. Such a well-spoken guy.
Yeah, it's wild, man. We got Nick Storm over here. Remember when Wardlow won the title and said he's bringing back the open challenge? Yeah.
Where is that open challenge? It needs to be
Pepperidge Farmer members.
Samoa Joe. Like, it's right there for you.
Yeah, anything. I mean, I'd let him go do his thing. Let him fight fucking the Factory by himself, like, for the whole week. I don't want to see it, but it's better than just slapping him in a tag team, you know?
I don't know if anyone's ever... I mean, we were watching WCW 1996, and I just imagine the momentum some guys are building. We've seen some flubs. Trust me, guys. And this is not new. Tony Khan's not the first person to make mistakes and drop the ball and lose momentum. But Wardlow was a layup, man. He was on 2005 Batista level momentum, ready to challenge for a world championship. And they served him up to Mark Sterling and security guards. And that's right there. Yeah. Firsthand. That's how you cool someone off and put them on the freezer. And now he's still over. He gets a huge reaction, but he was so goddamn white hot that it could have been something, a game changer, a homegrown main event star.
Yeah. No, you got to step on the gas when you fucking are changing lanes, man. And if you don't, you're going to get stuck behind somebody that's going slower than you need them to be. And that's probably what's going to happen here. I hope not. I want to see the best of the best ever, always, you know, but it's crazy.
Just to confirm, I do agree with you. I think Keith Lee and Swerve deserve to be on their own. So good point here. They're both top singles guys. I know Keith Lee gets some heat, especially from the Tavern. Sneed doesn't like Keith Lee, but there's no denying that Keith he needs to be booked as a killer. I think that's what Sneed has been saying since the beginning. This goofy gimmick that he portrays where he's trying to be lovable and also articulate, but also speaking a Shakespearean type of tone, just go out there and beat the hell out of people.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Swerve, Jaxie, you are on top of things, piecing it together. We got Swerve beating Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn did tease the crotch top. I want your thoughts on this. Not sure if you watched the Raw reunion of DX, the 25th anniversary of DX, an absolute abomination of our childhood. Road Dogg just made me feel ancient. My back hurts just from watching Road Dogg. Has anyone aged more poorly than some of these guys in DX? Shawn Michaels looks horrendous, and Road Dogg looks awful. Sean Waltman can still go, but fuck, man. Jesse James, Brian James, whatever the hell his name is, Road Dogg.
Well, he had a heart attack a few years ago too, right? Like,
I feel bad now.
A heart scare. Yeah, no, I mean it's.
I'm just saying, it wasn't that long ago he was working. No, like he was just here. Didn't he have that reunion at WrestleMania 29 against the Shield? Right? Didn't that happen? That happened.
So. They were on a run for a little bit.
The New Age Outlaws were back in the mid 2010s.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I mean, a lot has changed since then. And
apparently
man. Like, listen, Goldust put out a great post today saying like time catches up to you. And I think that's what happened to a lot of these guys.
Fuck.
Who would have thought 20 years ago, you'd be like, man, X-Pac's going to be in better shape than Shawn Michaels and fucking Road Dogg.
That one match that Shawn had in GCW, I know he got hurt, but he looked amazing.
Yeah, it still worked like a fucking champ, man. It was great.
And Billy Gunn looks like $1 million. He would have looked like
Billy Gunn
an Adonis next to all these guys in the ring.
Yeah, he looks like an Adonis in the ring now, and it's fucking mind-boggling. Guys still can
He's huge.
Go. Huge. He looks like Andre the Giant next to half the roster.
So it was funny, though. I did they acknowledged it. They let the crowd do the Billy Gunn part, which is a Vince McMahon thing that would have never happened. They also shouted out China, which was really cool. And Billy Gunn giving them some love back. Reminds me of the 90s when they would give the two sweets into the cameras to each other during the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah.
Billy did tease the crotch top, but then went for the scissor instead. Because
did you catch
over, bro?
Shawn Michaels threw up the scissors last night too when they were when he was doing the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Shawn Michaels was sitting back there with doing the scissors, throwing it up for his boy, man.
I think he's dealing with office supplies, according to
yeah. But listen, man.
Thank you, Tyson.
As we've seen in the match, it was so fucking good, man. Yeah, Outlaws versus Shield. Billy still can go, man, and this was a good example of youth versus old guy fucking shit up, and I thought it was good. I thought it was awesome. I love Mark Sterling. I cannot put that guy over enough, man. He is probably the best manager person. I don't know how else you would say it, but he's the best manager guy, like the best manager role of this era.
Manager personality, I would say. Yeah, you're right.
He's fucking fantastic. And him coming out, the great United States of America. And he's like, we copyrighted fucking Scissors Me. It's so good. And then, Scissors Me, Daddy Knees. Like, so silly, stupid, easy fucking heat, man. It is great. And about this point of the show, I found out that there's another guy that's super fucking over in Canada, and his name is Jim Cornette, man. Did you see
I did.
all the Cornette shirts, the signs? There was an Outlaw Mudshell, thank you, fuck you, bye you fucking sign in the crowd.
There was a Brian Last sign right by the entrance ramp as well. So
it's crazy. Who would have thought
I
that?
mean,
Maybe that's where he gets all his revenue. Yeah, man.
For sure. Yeah,
that's insane. But it was cool. It was good to see that they didn't take the signs away. Like you just seen it.
AEW, they don't do that shit.
It was great, man, and fucking good for Corny. I got a soft spot for Corny, man. I hate him and love him at the same time. But
I am a listener. Cool, I don't agree with everything he says, but you have to get See, this is the difference with a lot of different wrestling podcasts. Is like they have different perspectives and different ideas, and you may not like what Jim Cornette says. You may not agree with what he's saying, but he takes it from a perspective. He was in the business. He was a personality in the business and also a booker in the business. So what he has says holds weight. So whether you agree or disagree with it, it does have, it builds perspective so you can hear both sides of the fence. So do I agree with what he's saying about the all friends wrestling and ripping on Kenny Omega and the Kukaracha kids and Cucamonga kids, whatever he calls them? No, of course not. But there's a lot of points he does make about realism in wrestling that I do agree with, that back in the day, wrestling made a little bit more sense. And I think if he comes at it with a different, less shock jock approach, I think people would respond better, but that doesn't get the clicks,
Yeah, no, I thought it was just like he's a goofball. He is the Alex Jones of pro wrestling. Like you should watch him not taking him fully serious and just take it for the entertainment. These man, it's okay.
Shout out to Justin. Justin is a good friend of mine. He is the New York Wrestling Connection ring announcer. That's my dude right there. Corny's a boomer for real. Yeah, he is a boomer. I disagree with pretty much everything Jim Cornette says, but I like to hear the other side of the argument. I don't want to operate in an echo chamber and listen to people that agree with me. I like to hear alternative point of views. I like that in all aspects of my life. I like to hear disagreements so that you can weigh both sides of the fence. And there's no one that I disagree with more in wrestling than really Jim Cornette most of the time.
100%. But listen, you could.
No, I'm not even putting the comment up here, Justin. I don't agree with that person. I'm just saying I deal in facts. At least Jim Cornette deals in facts.
I'm talking about the showman. Okay, there's it's not the person himself, but the show he was putting on, because it was. Listen, we got 10 years worth of memes out of that fucking show. He should. As they probably owe him some money too, because he doesn't not talk about them. He puts them over more than Macho Man puts over Slim Jims. Like, for God's sake.
Justin's the man. Justin, thanks for hanging, dude. You guys follow him on Instagram. Great content. He's also, like I mentioned, the ring announcer for New York Wrestling Connection. You guys can check out my interview I just did with the Slime Balls right here on the Visit to Tavern. That was a great interview with two amazing up and coming tag teams. And I'm going to be having Desmond Cole from VPW and also Remarkable Wrestling on next Sunday. So make sure you guys stay tuned to that. Sorry for the cheap plug.
No, you have to get a bang bang. You got to do your Mick Foley pops. Hell yeah. So yeah, we go into Wild Thing hits, the crowd erupts. We see our good buddy Justin King hanging, walking, escorting Jon Moxley through the crowd. Mox gets in there and just talks mad shit about what it takes to be a world champion and what grit it takes. And Hangman comes out looking like something out of like Dirty Dancing. I'm not too sure where he's going with it. I like it.
Hangman's the drip god, dude. He's the drip god.
Hell yeah. I mean, you gotta fuck with it. But man, he cuts a very good promo on Hangman, and then Hangman comes right back at him with a lot of fucking. It felt very reminiscent to the Hangman Punk thing, but not to that hardcore degree, but to that point, And they throw MJF up there. We've talked about this. It's like putting Sting up in the rafters. You lose attention about what's going on. Grit, spit, and cowboy shit. But yeah, MJF, fucking the crowd erupts for MJF, and it's getting to that point. I think we are on the heels of getting MJF, and we totally skipped over the MJF backstage segment, right?
About Wheeler and all that stuff, which is a good thing.
It was good. I thought it was great, and like him calling Stokely the fucking Carlton dressing motherfucker or whatever the hell he called him. It was good, man, and teasing that he's going to get rid of Stokely already. I mean, that's crazy.
Retainer, dude. There's no loyalty with retainers. It's all about money.
It's wild to me though that they're already hinting at that. They're already trying to kill that whole thing away, especially after GCW this past weekend.
Yeah, I was hoping we would get a little bit more to that. I know that story is a little bit of deep cut for people. I don't think we got as much as we probably wanted, if not anything. I just wanted it to be addressed.
Yeah. It would have been good, right? Like I took one title off of you. Don't make me go for the next one, or don't fucking something along those lines.
I just don't understand why Brett Lauderdale doesn't ask them. Can you at least mention that Jon Moxley held our goddamn title for 400 something days?
Yeah, maybe he doesn't want to.
I guess maybe not.
Maybe it's too mainstream for the Lauderdales.
But you had Nick Gage on Dynamite, so the universe has opened up in that direction.
Did they ever say he was from GCW though, or they were just like he's Deathmatch King
on as well? Mance Warner was on Dynamite, so
hell yeah. No, we've seen Blake Christian on Dark and stuff like that.
I don't think they mentioned Blake Christian being on GCW, but I think Nick Gage was like GCW legend, and
so that's good. It's been too long. I got to go back and rewatch some of these old Dynamites because they were fucking great.
Quick little tidbit I caught from Excalibur, and I think he credited RJ City with this fact, and he told him on February 24th, 1968. Jimi Hendrix closed that exact building with the song Wild Thing. So it was interesting to hear that song blaring through the rafters back in 1968, February 24th. That song was ringing against the walls, and Jimi Hendrix to the sweet guitar tones of the one and only Jimi Hendrix. So I thought it was a cool fact. Man. I popped for that. Give me chills a little bit to think about that.
No, that's cool. I like when they throw little tidbits out like that. Good
Nick
stuff.
Storm has a question here. What does stable on retainer mean again? Someone help. It means that they're on loan. He's just on a financial agreement with him that at any time both sides can end it. Retainer means to put money into something. You have a lawyer on retainer, it means that you're just putting money to hold them in place just in case you need their services.
Yes. Cole Cabana's mom is on retainer.
Yeah, they did mention GCW for the Gage Pizza match. They had to have. Yeah, I mean, what else has Nick Gage done aside from the death matches and game?
The death match legend. It's like one of those things where they paint over it like a WWE-esque, like, here he comes, the guy with the light tube guy.
So the one thing I want to talk about with the crowd during the segment with Page and Moxley, this is the first time I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there was the crowd going into business for themselves where they were trying to hijack. It seemed like this was a 2014, 2015 WWE crowd where everyone was hot and bothered for Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, and they weren't getting what they wanted on screen. They wanted to buck the trend and go in the direction that was more trendy with these guys. It seemed like this crowd was trying to get themselves over. And I haven't seen that with these AEW audiences. And we have talked about this for a while. That seems like AEW they're this baby face company where people play along to what they want. You're going to boo the heels, cheer the faces, and nothing in between. And I know this MJF stuff blurs the line because he's on that fence right now. He's on that Stone Cold level where he could go one way or the other depending on what he does on the given night.
He rides the fence more than anybody on that roster.
Yeah. The crowd, though, felt as if they were trying to make their own chance, like a night after WrestleMania type of feel. And this was the one segment it was evident. Kind of bothered me a little bit.
Enlighten me because I don't recall.
Just that they were chanting for MJF when they shouldn't have been. It just seemed, and there was a couple parts during the Jericho match, and I know he is the hometown boy. They were singing Judas when they shouldn't have been. It seemed like they were trying to go viral or something. And I don't know if people go back. Maybe I'm off base here. It just felt like they were trying, and I know this is their debut as well. This is their big moment in AEW. They want to feel like electric, like the UK crowd was for Clash of the Castle with WWE. They want to feel it's like a special environment. I just felt like they were a little bit, I don't know. They were a little bit extra for no reason.
I get what you're saying, but I'm with Justin. It's Canada.
All right, fair enough. Two.
Yeah, but it didn't feel non-organic. Like they showed MJF up in the rafters, and that's what I mean. Like the crowd didn't give a fuck what anybody was saying. Love it. But yeah, the crowd stopped paying attention to the interview, and there was MJF time, and that's the problem when you throw the guy right here in the rafters, and he's just chilling there. They do have braces and retainers. It's good. I thought it was a decent segment, though. Hangman.
For sure. I think both these guys, Hangman, since everything's kind of the dust has settled on this controversy, he feels like a main event guy again.
Yeah, he was pulling those cards too. Like, oh, I lost my friends, like that shit. And it was good to kind of hear that. A lot of love for Kenny Omega too, and that's got to be hard for Tony Khan to run a show in Canada and not have Kenny Omega there. I mean, good that he had Jericho. But I mean, Kenny Omega's. When was the last time Kenny Omega wrestled in Canada, on a big, like, I don't think he's ever wrestled in Canada on a big stage, ever.
Yeah, probably the Indies back in the day, like in the Winnipeg Indies.
Could you imagine the pop him and Don Callis would have gotten coming out of that? Yeah, and it was just both two Canadian boys doing Canadian things, eating poutine, drinking their Timmies.
Was there a part of you that thought that Kenny was coming out?
No, not at all. No, it would shock me to see Kenny. That would be bigger than, most returns, most debuts. It'd be like, huh, Kenny's back. That's crazy. That was
Tony Khan
rushed.
certainly made a statement of who he's siding with here.
Yeah, no. Listen, but again, and that paints another picture. I mean, Kenny's. You could say that's because of the investigation or whatever, but I mean, they just did their first show in Canada without Kenny Omega, and that's fucking huge. Insane for
that is huge. That's a very good point. That's not a lot of people are talking about.
Yeah. So I mean, what the fuck's going on? So fuck that interview. Tony Khan's just like, nope, not doing anything with them. They're like, everybody's on the side burner for right now, which is good.
So we had in the middle of this card here, and I thought this would be the main event easily because Jericho is the defending world champion. He is from Canada. I know he's not from Toronto, Justin. He's from Winnipeg. From Long Island too, by the way. He's a Long Island. His dad played for the New York Rangers, so he's also a Long Island guy.
So yeah.
Bryan Danielson here in the middle. This match fucking rocked. It was awesome. Love this match. It was great. Everything about it, and even the end. I love when they play the sports entertainment part with Chris Jericho and all this Jericho Appreciation Society. Got to be honest, the Daniel Garcia thing shocked me. Yeah,
no, it was good. It was awesome. I loved little Danny Boy coming out and grabbing the title off of Jericho, like, no, fuck you, and then cracks Danielson. It was, I mean, come on, it was a beautiful way to. I like how they teased it, like Rocky 3, and then they threw that swerve in there, and it just leaves the door open for a fourth, a fifth. It still adds that lore. I feel like Bryan Danielson just came there to beat the shit out of people and take losses like a gentleman.
That's not how it was drawn up in the beginning, but you're right. That's what it's been like lately.
But he's doing good, man. It almost felt, I was like, man, are they going to do a blood and guts? Because Cesaro and all them come out, and I was like, oh, here we go. Like,
I gotta wait, they just. Are you kidding me? I gotta play the drop. How's it not ready? Hold on.
We're waiting patiently.
Can we talk Claudio, please?
Claudio, excuse me, pardon.
I love it.
Anytime someone says Cesaro, you got to drop it.
Yeah, no, and it was cool, man. I thought it was a really well done match and segment. It was fun. Jericho's punches were a little shit in the corner, like he was doing these little mommy punches. But it was, listen, man, he's not trying to fuck up the other moneymaker, so it's good. I thought it was fun, man. Daniel Garcia looks like $1 million. He's kind of slowly growing and growing and growing. He's gonna kill somebody one day in a good way. In a great
man.
way.
I think they built an absolute killer with him that looks like a legitimate main eventer, but they're doing it right. They're not forcing him there yet. They're letting a slow little build here. And once Ring of Honor is an established entity on a separate brand, I think Daniel Garcia is going to play a huge, huge part in that. I think that's an understatement. The one thing about the end here with Garcia and Jericho and Danielson, when he eventually hits Danielson and costs him the match, it was like the Bret Hart, Roddy Piper moment from WrestleMania 8, where instead of being Bret Hart and deciding not to hit him with the ring bell, he goes all out and just beats him up anyway. So it was kind of, I'm not saying they're paying homage to that, but that's the feel I got, where he was stuck trying to make a decision. And I'm sure we're going to hear a little bit from Daniel Garcia down the line. It's a business decision. I think he probably sees more dollar signs with the JAS and kayfabe. Yeah. But that's where I felt a little bit. And, that's just watching wrestling for a long time. It makes you think back of, you wonder if Tony Khan thought about it too.
Yeah. Well, they thought the camera did a really shitty job at this point when they did the hug at the end, because Garcia had like this dead stare. And like they showed it for like a second, and then Jericho's like got in the way of it, and like they should have had a camera ready to get to those eyes, because he was just like, no selling the shit out of the hug. He was like, "Fuck you guys, I don't want to be here." So it was good. I thought I enjoyed the whole segment. I thought it was fun. Thought it was really good. Well,
some near falls. The match went back and forth. There was a second that I thought they might have put the title on Danielson. I know we talked last week that maybe Danielson's going to get a run with the ROH title, but it feels like probably next up in this line is going to be Samoa Joe. And I feel sorry for Chris Jericho because he's going through every ROH champion. What other ROH champions are out there in AEW? Maybe they can take him off the indies as well.
Yeah. I mean, you can cherry pick everywhere. Yeah, but Samoa Joe would be great. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's a hard book to it's a hard book to write.
A lot of those ROH champions are residing in WWE right now, so it's hard to.
That's true too.
Bridge that gap. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. And Marty Scurll's blacklisted, so we can't get him.
yeah, true.
Yeah,
he was in Queens,
by
the way. He played. Yeah, we talked about in the beginning here. We just talked about how Ariel Helwani probably. I don't blame him for being upset. I just think that there's a piece of Tony Khan that probably just shouldn't have went on the interview. It's like, what Ariel's going to ask. Like, we don't want to talk about Battle of the Belts, bro. Like, we want to talk about what went down. I think Ariel Helwani gives a shit about Battle of the Belts because it's live. He wants to know about Punk and Omega. Like, what's going on?
Tony Khan's just like, redacted. Redacted.
Right, so the next match here, I just want to get into it quick. I mean, I want to give some shout out to the women here. And it's no coincidence when Sheeta's involved in the women's match, it kills. It's awesome. Sheeta back doing big things. And this was awesome. All 4 women crushed it here. This was how you should book the women's division. I know it was a tag match, but they crushed it. And Hayter got a huge pop.
Yeah, it was definitely way better than the trios match last week, right? That was last week already. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this was great, and I'm always going to be telling you right now, Sheeta is like one of the shining lights of that women's division. Always has been. She just didn't have a lot of people to work with before. So now we're getting all these good talent coming in and all this shit. Like, you're getting to see a good side of Sheeta where she's actually making fucking, mountains move. I love Sheeta, man. Sheeta's great. I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a very good women's match, especially for AEW.
100%, especially with the women's division has been going. And I put on my Instagram a little reel. It was a Dark Elevation clip where Jamie Hayter came out and she got a huge reaction.
Hell yeah.
So don't make the same mistakes of your predecessors in the wrestling world, Tony Khan. Pull the trigger while she's white hot, turn her face, and get her on TV as a main event player. And let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it. Get her there.
No, she looks like $1 million, man. She handles herself like $1 million in the ring. She's got presence. She looks fucking fantastic. She kills it when she's out there. I'm all for it, man. Book her. Have her take the title off of Jade. Get some love out there. Do something good.
I need Jamie Hayter in a big spot. And I know they like slow burns. We've seen it with MJF and Wardlow, how long that took. And I understand it pays off sometimes, but some call an audible. It's not that often. I always go back to it. So forgive me if you've heard this a million times, but when Rusev was so over with the Rusev Day thing, they should have called an audible and had him win that goddamn Rumble instead of Roman Reigns that year.
Yeah.
You had a future cornerstone star on your hands. I know that's laughable in people's mind, but we see the killer that Miro can be. He was on that level in WWE, and they were like, "Nah, I don't think so."
Yeah, and they had
didn't make it.
They had such a good moment there that they could have had Rusev, because Rusev was just sitting sidelines for that Rumble, and the crowd was like, they caught it after they were like, "Roman Reigns, what?" And it was like, "Fucking go, go, go!" Like he should have just ran in there, flipped him over, and went mad heel, or whatever. It does, like, who gives a fuck? But it would have made for interesting content.
Yeah, they would have messed it up some other time. It's not like it would have been like, "Oh, he's the next Stone Cold Steve Austin," because
Roman would have been making out with Lana on the entrance ramp or something.
Oh my god,
it would have been so. It's my wife. You can't fuck my wife. Yeah.
So before we get to the main event,
Borat.
We have Borat. We have the Rampage card and Dynamite. So we have Rampage, which is live on Friday. We have the AEW World Champion Jon Moxley teaming with Claudio Castagnoli versus Butcher and the Blade with the Bunny. We have Ethan Page versus Isaiah Cassidy, Nyla Rose versus Anna Jay. And we also have FTR and the returning Sean Spears, a little Pinnacle reunion here versus Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony. Not a bad Rampage card. I know there's not a lot on the line, but anytime you get your world champion on Rampage, my ears perk up a little bit. I'm interested in watching.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And it's shame. I was so jacked to watch Rampage last week with the Battle of the Belts. Totally slept on it. It was like I woke up on
so
Saturday,
did everybody else. It had like a record low viewership.
I was really mad at myself though, because I was like, oh, I want to see it because it's live. It was 2 hours. I was fucking pumped, and I was just like, I woke up on Saturday. I was like, fuck, AEW was on last night, and it didn't record Battle of the Belts, and I was like, well, you can't win them all the time.
Well, you didn't really miss much, but we'll, that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah.
Dynamite for next week. We get 2 matches right now, and we also have an interview set up. So we have that big match they've been building towards, the one we got in the segment. AEW World Champion Jon Moxley defending his championship against Hangman Adam Page. And we also have the AEW Interim World Champion Toni Storm defending her championship against the aforementioned Hikaru Shida. So shall be interesting. Talking about calling an audible, maybe they go with Shida with the interim championship, shake things up a little bit.
I'm throwing it out now. Do you think MJF cashes in his chip next week? Because now they're selling the fuck out of it. Well, no, they were like, he could cash it in at any time. So like now it's Money in the Bank. Like clearly they made it. They turned it like it wasn't before. They turned it into it. So
chip in the slot.
It's the chip. Do you see MJF coming out next week?
If that's indeed how it works, I could see Jon Moxley winning a hard-fought battle with Hangman and being compromised. The only thing that has me thinking about it is another short reign for a world champion. It's just like, dude, the world championship can't catch a damn break.
My love for it is MJF has got a track record of beating people in their hometown. They're in Ohio next week.
Interesting. Cincinnati or a different part of Ohio?
They're on Cincinnati, baby.
Oof.
Yeah, so I could see if he doesn't cash it in, at least come out and tease it like in gear. Like it gets to the bottom of the ramps, like, nope, fuck you guys, like walks out, something like that. I would pop for it, but I could see it happening, man. I could totally see it fucking happening. It would be cool. It would make for good TV because they were like, wow, they changed the world title on fucking television and like in a way we wouldn't think because it's Mox's hometown. Because MJF beat Punk in his hometown. That was the first big L for Punk. It was good. It was really good. So I would love to see it happen again. Continue that.
He also beat the shit out of Brian Pillman Jr. in Cincinnati as well. So
it's good for him. Yeah. Fucking Bengals. No.
Pillman was wearing his dad's Tiger tights, so it had me feeling all sorts of way, like that old WCW 1991 figure. So
that was another time where they should have fucking went white hot because Pillman was so fucking over after that segment, and then it was just like,
where are the Varsity Blondes now? Right now, too. I remember seeing them. I was like, these guys are going to be future tag champions, and then the claim said, "Hold my beer, scissor me, daddy."
Yeah, they caught him in line with the scissors. They were like, "Oh, it's fucking back of the bus, kid."
All right, so Mark Henry, your shitty Jack specific figure, take the lead.
It's time for the main event.
Boom!
A surprising main event here.
A very surprising, very fucking entertaining. This stole the show for me, and that's hard to say because we've seen Jericho and fucking Bryan Danielson beat the shit out of each other. And a lot of other good shit too. I mean, come on. This was a hot fucking match. I thought, Orange Cassidy representing, doing good. I love him and Pac have a fucking amazing in-ring chemistry. They worked so damn well together. Like I don't know how else to like put it in the words. Like it's like watching two of the greatest dancers get on, Dancing with the Stars or some shit and watch them do their thing. And you're just like, wow, or like Brian Boitano fucking doing ice skating. You're like, wow, look at this guy. He knows what he's doing.
I mean, a big thing with Orange is his offense has to be sold to the nth degree to look devastating. And nobody does a better job of selling than Pac. Those tornado DDTs twice outside, completely RVD'd, ECW'd, DDT rigor mortis where he flipped over. Even better, he bent his knees and looked like he was spiked directly into the ground.
Yeah, he looked dead.
Orange punches. The way he sold it too, because most people would fall back, but no. When you're playing checkers, he's playing chess. He falls forward and sits and folds his body over.
Unbelievable
job, dude. He is so underrated. We talked about it in the Slime Balls interview. Both those guys were talking about their favorite wrestlers, and they said nobody talks about Pac as much as they should. And nobody talks about the All-Atlantic Championship as much as they should. And here we go. point in case, Pac he should be the world champion eventually. There's no way he shouldn't be in the main event. This guy, masterclass of selling to get a guy over.
Yeah, I was expecting him to get like at least a title picture, maybe not a run with the belt right away, but I was expecting him to be up there because, I mean, we've seen him for all these years. He's been phenomenal everywhere he's been, no matter what. Like, throw him on 205 Live, watch him tear the fucking house down. Throw him on NXT, watch him blow that place up, and like he comes over here and fucking good stuff, Mighty Mouse.
Put a cape on that guy, damn it.
But man, those cells on those DDTs, that was where I was going next. Unfucking real, like just unbelievably great watching. It was a fantastic match, man. Like, it was so goddamn good.
So we saw a tease with the hammer again, and I like the recurring theme of using the ring bell hammer multiple times. He went for the hammer outside and then dropped with a diving DDT through the ropes to the floor. Back inside, Pac was spiked with another DDT, ate the orange bunch for a close 2, which was the spot we're talking about. We saw a beach break on the apron. We saw a Danhausen spot. He cursed Pac, which I guess the curse works because it did work.
Yeah.
The referee took the hammer from him, picked up a striped hammer from under the apron, tried to use it again. Good ring psychology, a whole bunch of different finishes. For a second, looked like Pac was going to win. As an experienced wrestling fan, the fact that it was in the main event, I knew Orange was winning here, and I was really excited for it.
Yeah, like I said I said it last week. I think I said it the week before, or the last time I was on before that. I was Orange. They need to move that Atlantic title around a little bit, and yeah, give it to Cassidy deserves. He's so fucking over, and this match proved it again. This brought back that same Orange Cassidy that fought Jericho during the pandemic. This was that Orange Cassidy, white fucking hot. Crowd was 110% behind him. I was like, hell yeah, this is it. Like, I'm so fucking pumped, man. And it was the complete opposite of, yeah, see, damn right. Orange plus Jefferson Starship equals unstoppable. This is like the opposite of how I felt when the Acclaim lost it all out. Like, I was like,
yep.
I was so fucking ready for it tonight, and it was good. And Orange Confetti was a little overdone. I don't think you need confetti for the All Atlantic Championship, but it was good, man. The guy fucking deserves it. He's busted his ass for the last 3 years there. I love it, man. Orange Cassidy for the win, baby.
Yeah, and I like the fact that the All Atlantic Championship was defended in the main event of a Dynamite. That was the debut in Canada, so that can't be disputed as a big moment. There's no arguing right now for the people that think the All Atlantic Championship has been a bad idea and they were skeptical on how it would be booked. Here to say you guys were right. I mean, it's been booked like shit. Let's be honest. It's been out there, booked in a similar fashion to, we talked about it on Shot of Nostalgia, the television championship that Steven Regal won in 1997. He's been gone for 7 months. He came back after 7 months. Like, by the way, he won the television championship, but don't worry, he's been defending it overseas, which back in 1997, 1996, you could just pretend like, yeah, it happened. You don't have to read about it. But now it's the internet. The world's so much smaller. If he's defending the title, it's going to be on YouTube somewhere. We'll read about it somewhere. I don't know. I like when they were doing the small moments and had him defending it across the seas and in UK and in Germany and all over the place. It needs to be right on AEW television as a staple mid-card championship to help get your guys over. And Orange, let's hope he doesn't have the curse of everybody else where you put the title on someone and he disappears. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no,
it probably will.
I hope they don't like they cornered themselves with this title because the way they represented it right off the bat, like, oh, he's going to indie shows, and people were like, oh, that's awesome. He's across the pond. He's doing his thing over there. Not enough time on TV. People, like, who the fuck even cared about? Who gives a shit about that title? Orange Cassidy did. Like, that's what it was tonight. It was like, okay, cool. At least he got a fucking trophy. He deserved it. I think he was well more deserving of other things too, but hopefully it doesn't fall down that path of just been forgotten, and like they're gonna team him up with Snow Joe next week, and he's gonna be Slow Joe versus the Acclaim.
War Slow Joe. We got a
War Slow Joe.
Right here. We got a Slow War Joe.
FT10 10-star FTR.
Is in your mind, do you see there being a world where Orange Cassidy is world champion, whether it being AEW or another major promotion? Like, I don't know, maybe New Japan or Impact. Like, you see him ever being a world champion, or is it just one of those niche gimmicks that needs to be in the mid card?
I did right after the Jericho program. Like, I would have been fucking pumped for it. Like, let him go for it. I don't think it's not possible. I think he's over as fuck. Time and place though, how soon? That's the questionable part of it. But I could see it happening. Why not?
I could see AEW doing it. It's just he's at the back of the line of a line that has a lot more well-deserving guys in front of him. I'm not saying he's not deserving. The line is just filled with guys that are deserving that should be getting completely. Yeah, like a guy. I'm not saying Miro would probably deserve it before him because Orange has been there as one of those core guys. But a guy like MJF is a guy who's next in line. But there's other people there as well. Bryan Danielson, who has worked his ass up in the main event. You know, go down the line. There's other guys that maybe Chris Jericho deserves another championship run.
Yeah.
You know, Kenny Omega eventually when he comes back, like Hangman maybe deserves another run. Like it's going to be hard to find
the Young Bucks.
It's going to be hard to find reasoning to get Orange in the main event as a legitimate, maybe down the line. I think 2020 would have been the perfect time to pull the trigger on it because it's like no one's in there. And I don't know. I don't see it ever happening, unfortunately.
I think it would have been super interesting if they did it during the pandemic because like they had no crowd. It would have drawn TV ratings for sure because it would be like, wow, they gave it to the young dude over Jericho. Like, fuck, that's crazy. You know, like that would be huge. But yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. Who knows? I could see it happening. Like I said, time and place. That's up in the air. And that's another real quick to throw back to the news piece. AEW carried fucking Warner programming, TBS, TNT, mainly TNT through the whole fucking pandemic. No crowd. The only live television on at the time was WWE and AEW. And how can you shoot that horse? Like you're fucking. They're still riding, man. They got a lot of races left in that carriage, baby. But yeah.
So good point here. I could see it in a few years in reference to Orange winning the championship. It's the only belt he's not won. And make it like a big pilgrimage arc that the crowd can get behind. You're right. I mean, he hasn't won any other championships in AEW, but he's never been a heavyweight champion. And I know that sort of goes against everything old school. It would make old school wrestling fans, their heads would explode. I'm sure Jim Ross would have a difficult time calling it. And I know he's grown on Jim Ross and he's actually said it, but it's definitely different. He represents 2022 and eventually 2023 style of wrestling more than anybody. And if a company's going to do it, it'd be someone like AEW. But like I said, there's a lot more, I guess, possible contenders in front of him that I don't think he ever is going to jump those guys. Yeah. Like I would see a guy like Pac should be above him as far as world title contender.
No,
as far as challengers than Orange. I don't know. I don't see it happening soon.
You don't believe it.
I wouldn't be angry if it happened, if it was done correctly, but I just don't believe it until I see it. When he was challenging for the championship in that triple threat match, ironically with Pac and Kenny Omega, match crushed it. But did for a second you believe Orange was going to win the championship? Never. Like I never believed that.
Yeah. Could you imagine if that was when it happened? Fucking people would have lost their shit. Yeah,
my guy Justin, shout it out to Brody Tober, baby. Yeah, what the hell's Brody King? We need him on TV as well.
He's doing it. He's hanging out with Ricky Starks and Darby. They're playing Twitch and shit like that. That's what boys do apparently nowadays. Fucking kids in their goddamn video games, just sitting there hanging out, dicking around, playing Nintendo. It's good shit. But no, it was, like I said, it's yeah. This was a fucking stellar ass episode of Dynamite. Like the ending was done great. Jericho Danielson obviously fantastic. I mean that's what my takeaway from it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the crowd was on fire. It was a good debut for the Canadian crowd. And aside from that one moment I talked about with them chanting for MJF when they shouldn't have during the Amazing Hangman promo, I'll give them a pass there.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing action. The one thing I do want to give Tony Khan some credit for is he didn't panic with the Bray Wyatt stuff that happened on Sunday or Saturday, I should say, at Extreme Rules.
No.
He didn't panic. He didn't try to bring someone in. He didn't try to go away from the formula. If you like AEW wrestling, if you like the style of wrestling they bring to the table, this was for you. If you were looking for something different, it wasn't for you. And I think he needs to continue on that path where he's going to book for the fans that enjoy their wrestling, not try to hook in people that are never going to like your product anyway.
Yeah.
So just like at this point, book to the people that are going to watch. And I understand you have to hook casual fans, but don't do it in spite of your diehards and the people that want to see your product. Focus on the stories that are being told. Guys like MJF, guys like Jack Perry, guys like Chris Jericho, Bryan Danielson, they should be on your screens every single week. Give me more Brody King. Give me more Wardlow. I need those championship matches. I don't need debuts for the sake of debuts.
Brody versus Wardlow, please. I'm here for it, man. slap that fucking title on Brody. He ain't doing nothing right now. Waiting for his homeboy in fucking Fortnite. Just catching up on Justin.
And as far as the Danielson Jericho match, I don't think it was their best effort. I do think their second one was best. I think it was better than the All Out match, which was clunky as hell. If you remember, we were watching that live. Yeah. It didn't resonate as much as it should. I think people weren't reacting the way they probably expected. So this was the second best of the trilogy, and it's opened up for a fourth. And I'm here for that, dude. I think they can go another 3 or 4.
Hell yeah,
why
man.
not?
No, why not? Absolutely. This was not Steamboat Flair like they said on commentary. This was not anywhere near that. So I would like to see them really put together a fucking Steamboat Flair Jericho Danielson match. I think it would be unbelievably great. And fuck yeah, do that shit, man.
All right, so we are kind of going to the end here. Mike, give me some hype about what's going on in the Tavern. Anything going on your end? I mean, we got Shot Nostalgia coming up on Friday.
Yeah, I was going to say the best fucking show in the business is shooting out up on Friday, man. We got Shot Nostalgia 1996 WCW kind of winding down that dusty trail. Oh, man. Like we're about to go break Dusty's leg. Like it's just a sad day, man. I thought Tom was sneaking in here for a minute. I was like, fuck.
Where is Tom? Where is Freeman?
I don't know, man.
Today? What's going on?
The Tavern just fucking they're on they're under investigation. They're not allowed to be back until
the group chat was eerily silent during Dynamite. It was eerily silent. I was like, is my phone not working? I usually get a million texts during.
Like holding it up to the windows and shit. Like we get service here.
Any bars?
Hello. But yeah, man, we got Shot of Nostalgia Friday. Obviously, the flagship tomorrow. You fucking guys go check that out because I'm sure it's gonna be fantastic. Chad and Sneed are always fucking the most entertaining people in the fucking business. And then we got. Are we doing the wrap up on Tuesday next week?
Dynamite's on Tuesday next week.
Dynamite's on Tuesday next week.
Of course, we'll be fucking here on Tuesday. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm here for it.
I have all these notes. I didn't have that.
No, Dynamite is fucking running on a Tuesday, man. It's gonna be interesting. TNT, TBS Tuesdays at TBS. I missed when they were on TNT. It had much better fucking ring to it. TBS is just like, oh, that's the Big Bang Theory show, like the station, like that's what that fucking channel.
Can't deal with the lead in with Big Bang. I just think it's the most unfunny show of all time.
It's a cigarette break for me. I'm like, okay, cool. I got like fucking 5 minutes before I get to come back in and hang out and watch some good old wrestling, baby. But yeah, man, you got the flagship. You got Shot of Nostalgia for the running out the rest of the week. You got Raw Down, right? Isn't that on Thursdays or something? I don't know.
Raw Down's. I forget the new schedule. Raw Down's on Thursday now. We also got Long
sleeping
Balls.
there in the Raw Down.
Long Balls on Tuesday. You guys have Fig Night on Tuesday. We have Broken
got
VCR dropping as well. So you guys, there's so much going on in Tavern. Check out the schedule.
Yeah, check out Fig Night from this week, man. We had a really good Fig Night. I unboxed my CM Punk Ice Cream Ringside Collectibles exclusive from the first dance, the debut, and it was so cool. Like I posted that awesome picture on Instagram with the fucking ice cream wrappers from the show and my shirts, and like he's in the same little package. They gave me a little tiny, pretty cool ice cream bar. I'm fucking loving it, man. So yeah, it's good shit. Chill away, homeboy.
As you mentioned, Shot Nostalgia come up on Friday. Make sure you guys check it out. We have 2 episodes of Nitro, followed up by War Games the next week. So episode 27 coming up with War Games, 26 this week. Just
World War III.
Oh, I said War Games. World War III, the 60-man battle
games.
Yeah.
Where's that fucking? We need the War Games drop. God damn it.
Yeah. So World War III, the 60-man battle royal. Their answer to the Royal Rumble, and was it as good as the Royal Rumble? It never was. But my
favorite childhood fucking pay-per-view was World War III. I thought it was the fucking best. 3 rings. It was such a shit show spectacle. I loved it. Good stuff.
You were a WCW kid growing up. Were you?
I was, man.
Comparing it to the Royal Rumble as a kid, you liked it better? You had more suspense and more build-up towards it in your mind?
Some years.
Interesting.
I think towards like 98, Rumble was just the winner. Maybe 97 too. But like 96, World War III, fucking hook it up, man. You should be on Shot of Nostalgia. We get fucking lit on Shot of Nostalgia.
Well, you got to bring your liquor of choice for DQ finishes. And spoiler alert, there's about 6 DQ finishes coming up on Nitro. Eric Bischoff had it out for us 26 years later. But yeah, dude,
he's pissed.
Justin, pick an episode of Nitro, and we'll, we got 5 left in WCW 1996. But if you're not able to join us for that, we got ECW 1995 coming up, so that's killer as well.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. That's gonna be fun.
And you can tell us what the NYWC, the brick, feels like, the original ECW set, because that's the one you walk through every time you go out to the ring.
You smell it. It still smells like New Jack and Percocets.
Oh my god!
So a lot of baby oil.
All right, so given some more shilling this Saturday, we have VPW 2022 Gold Rush, 20 competitors, 1 winner. You thought World War III was good? Fucking VPW coming your way, 20 competitors. Saturday night, October 15th. Guess who has a table? That's right, the ace of the tavern, Stephen ACEFIELD. I will not be in the No Cell studios. I'll be live. I'll be there. Giving out stickers. Giving out keychains. I will not be selling t-shirts as previously advertised. Giving things out. I got Shot in Nostalgia stickers. I got Tavern stickers. I got Stephen ACEFIELD stickers. You want stickers? You want free things? Come see me. Filming some content as well. You guys stay tuned to my Instagram for different content. Here is the card. If you guys are local to it, come hang out, dude. Bell time's at 7:30. It's so worth it. Some great guys. Desmond Cole. He's going to be on Visit the Tavern on Sunday following this event. Him and I, spoiler alert, are going to be filming on Friday as well. So you guys can check that out. Some familiar faces as well. So guys, it's awesome. Anytime you guys can support independent wrestling, it is a good thing to do. We're going to do some more shilling for Remarkable Wrestling as it comes closer, because it's the Halloween Haunted Havoc show is approaching. Whereas I'm going to pull up the comment here by my good friend Justin. I'm going to pull it up. Where'd it go?
It's there.
I'm finding it. It's all the way up here. But you guys can all come and hang out with me. I'll be in the ring. That's right. Doing ring announcing. So you guys can come check that out.
Ooh.
I'll be in a sport jacket announcing. It's not September 21st. It's October 21st. It's a Friday night. Deer Park, NYWC Sportatorium, Remarkable Wrestling. We have the World Championship on the line. Gabriel Sky versus Desmond Cole. Man,
October 21st. It's gonna be the best show ever.
The best show ever.
Greatest, best show ever. You're gonna have the best fucking time watching pro wrestling right here, right now. It's great.
So make sure you guys check that out. And also too, NYWC the next night, they're having a show. And not to mention, we got Joey Conway versus Man Bun Jesus in a casket match, highlighting that show. Dude, it's going to be awesome. October 21st.
October 21st.
October 22nd, NYWC. But come out to Remarkable Wrestling October 21st. And if you still have more time to kill, more money to burn, the next night, New York Wrestling Connection. You can't get enough independent wrestling. It's freaking awesome. Support all these guys. They put in a lot of, it's called House of Hardcore. That is absolutely right. Or House of Madness, it's called, Justin. That's what it's called.
House of Hardcore was Dreamer's gimmick, wasn't it?
So make sure you guys support independent wrestling, guys. It's such an important, it's the lifeblood of wrestling. And I understand, like, you guys all live in different areas. We have a whole bunch of people watching tonight. Do yourself a favor. Look up your local independents. There's guys that are coming in that, you may be familiar with them. You may not be, but you may become their biggest. And guess what? You can have interactions with these guys.
Yeah.
And hang out. And it's such a good time. I can't speak to it enough. Not just the ones I'm associated with and going to. Support your local indies. It's
hell yeah.
I can't say it enough.
No, it's like going to your mom and pop shops. You got to support the fucking homegrown business, man. And that's what indie wrestling is. Homegrown fucking business, watching talent grow. You never know who's going to be the next big guy. So it's important to get out there and fucking buy those tickets. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Get your mind off the week. Settle into some nice indie wrestling, man. And who better to do it? You go see ACEFIELD over here doing fucking ring announcing. It's going to be great.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
Oh, it's going to be a good time, guys. Seriously, I appreciate the support. Check it out. And again, if you're in the area on Saturday this week coming up, come say hi. I'm down to hang out and meet some of you guys. And if you want some free stuff, I got some free stuff coming your way. Got a cool banner. You guys will not be able to miss the Turnbuckle Tavern banner I have over there. It looks really sweet. I sent it to BELCASTER earlier. It looks freaking awesome.
I thought you said you booked Bruce Banner.
That as well.
Fuck, man. Yeah.
But All right, let's just plug the tavern quick. I'll let you do your shilling here, Mike.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's get to it. theturnbuckletavern.com. We are basically everywhere and anywhere you need to be. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pro Wrestling Tees, and that beautiful little pigtail at the end. That's Teesprings. Make sure you check it out. I call that the forbidden door of merchandise for the tavern. It's all the cool shit that we're not allowed to sell on Pro Wrestling Tees, or they just have better options like mugs. Fucking, you could get a mug with Tom's mug on it. You could get a Send Hawk fucking mug. It's great. And after watching Long Balls, who doesn't want to send Hawk anywhere? I would love to send Hawk. Hawk needs to be like a greeting card.
Hawk needs to be on NFL Network. The dude crushes it.
My God, absolutely. Smoking bowls, just having a great time. Fuck you, Patrick Ewing. Like, fucking, yeah.
Bob Costas off of MLB, calling the Yankees and the Guardians. We need Hawk up there. Be like, baseball sucks.
Yeah, baseball's fucking lame.
It was good when they did steroids.
Yeah. But yeah, man, turnbuckletavern.com. You know the drill, man. Go over there, like us, subscribe. Just subscribe at this point. Likes are like fucking, participation trophies. We want the subs. Give us some subs. I'm a sub guy. I'm a big fucking hoagie dude. Get me some more subs. I love subs. Jersey Mike's Hawk's holding a cute little sub named Pavlov right there. Look at that thing. Yeah, man, fucking follow along, hang out, join the ride. We're blowing up. We're having a good time down here. So, anything else, Ace?
That's all we got, man. I appreciate you joining us. Hopefully, we'll have the full team back. We are supposed to be having Freeman joining us again. I can't wait to have him back. We miss his voice. We miss his presence here on the wrap up.
Yeah.
And hopefully, we get Tom back next week and we have the full crew. It's been a while that we've had sequential weeks. I know we had the three of us last week. We're missing Nick Storm, who's in the chat for a bit. Nick, come on back home.
We miss
Come back
you.
to the wrap up. We want to hear your thoughts on the show.
It's not the Tavern reunion. This feels like the DX reunion. We're missing our little daddy ass Nick Storm. So come back, man.
Yeah.
Very famous. Very evil.
Ah, yes. Of course. But yeah,
Amazing.
man, this was a hell of a fucking show, and I can't wait for next Tuesday, right here, same time, different day, same place. You know where we're going. I got Tony Khan in my ear. This is your shtick. I love it, but it's gonna
There's
be
only room for one Khan in the wrestling business, Nick, and it's me. It's Tony Khan.
This Tuesday, best All Elite wrap-up you're ever going to watch. We got to go. We're running out of time. We stayed after the hours. See you later.